Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. Today, when we say back, we're back on the subject of small business, on the subject of how our economy can be brought up, can be lifted up once again, like we used to say. And today, in the whole subject, we have the pleasure to be visited by a great man. He is the member of the National Federation of Independent Business, and also he's a member of the California Action Council, right? That's a council, right? We're talking about leadership, business leadership here, business development leadership, and this is the man actually operates business by advising people, by being a counseling on how to run business, how can business, better from this very moment on when President Trump takes office, right? His name is Max Ordonez, and sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack, thank you.
And you know, to lots of people, they might not be aware about the function of your organization, that is the National Federation of Independent Business, and also the Action Council of California. And of course, you, as our new friend, my audience, most of them are, I would say, business owners with better off background because they are able to understand English. That's a prerequisite, right? So, and you're talking to the right people, right group of people, and we need to borrow from you a little background about the three, you yourself, the Federation, the Council, please.
Wonderful, thank you for having us. Again, I'm a member of National Federation of Independent Businesses. It is a national organization with over 325,000 small business owners.
325,000.
And here in California, we have over 22,000 members here in the state of California.
25?
22,000.
Oh, 22,000.
Yes. So it is a National Federation of Independent Businesses. The majority of the businesses are smaller businesses. I believe the average employee for our membership is somewhere around 4 employees. So there's some companies that are maybe, mom and dad, maybe a family business, and there's some larger scale businesses.
Mom and pop stores, and
there's some businesses that are a lot larger, maybe with 100 employees. So we have a membership all over the 50 states, in every major city, and also in small rural America. Here in California, we have quite a large portion of a membership that are farmers, family business farmers as well. So, because of our unique economy here in California. So that's a little background on that. Also, the organization is an advocacy group. Small business collaborate, and through NFIB, we begin to advocate for a good business environment, both in DC and locally in all 50 states. So, so that's something we work together. And as far as the California Action Council, I'm a member. I believe we have probably 12, 14 members from all over the state of California who represent their areas, different areas from, like I mentioned, farmers, manufacturers, store owners, general store owners, lumber, all the spectrum and the industries here in California.
Is it like a guild or something in that nature?
No, it's a advocacy group. It is a nonprofit group.
It's not a government entity anyway.
No. Okay, it's a volunteer group.
But you do connect with them, and you do voice out to them.
Yes.
Say, hey, wake up. This is what we want, right?
And we connect with them with all the other new technology and marketing tools that people use in their own businesses that some of your audiences use as well.
All right. Okay. Good. That I would like to meander a little bit on the definition of independent business as versus small business. Are they the same thing, or are they anyway?
Yeah, no, I would say they're the same. Small businesses. These are not large corporations. These are small businesses that are here down the street here in West Covina, or even next to your studio. that we have some distributors and stores,
including ourselves.
Including
we're a little over 150.
Wow.
So, well, you know, we're still small.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Good, very good.
So we're all impacted by what is happening right now in Washington and what happens here locally.
I see.
In California.
So what does it do? What do they do? The council and the organization. I mean, and MB and the international. I mean, the Federal Federation, National Federation of Independent Business, as organizations. What they normally do as a day-to-day, or any examples?
Quick example, as far as the Action Council, we're more in an advisory. We play an advisory role to our wonderful staff here in California, who's based in Sacramento, who is 2 blocks from the Capitol. And they do engage our legislators to provide them information on how the small business membership is viewing maybe a particular bill, or some of the things that they have challenges with and want to share with their elected officials.
I see. Okay, very good. And do you lobby?
That's probably the more
there's a better
formal term. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
there's even
yes. And
even
in the past,
term,
we National Federation of Independent Business has endorsed several bills, and has even and in some cases has come out against certain bills.
I see.
As well.
Yes, I'm very glad that today I get this opportunity to touch base with the basic concept about being a small business, about being an organized group of people, being a member or something. So if a business owner decides to join the party, though, they can apply a member?
That is correct. They could, obviously we have a website where we have information on some of the benefits of that membership, and we do have our sales reps out all over the country.
I see.
And they're meeting small business people door to door, talking to them about what National Federation of Independent Business is.
I see.
As an advocacy group, really the voice, we call it the voice of small businesses. That's the term that we,
I see.
Our tagline, and and that's what the role is of NFIB.
Does it by any chance sound like a union stuff?
No.
It's not a union.
No.
Not
very,
union
very
nature.
different.
Very different.
Yes,
I see.
It's a nonprofit organization of small business getting together and really working together to ensure that our legislators in all 50 states and our national elected officials are aware of some of the concerns that small business people may have.
Wow.
Maybe share some challenges and be able to support bills that are going to create growth and opportunity for small businesses. And in some cases, maybe disagree with some bills that we feel may impede the growth of a small business or create more bureaucracy for a small business.
Yeah, you're right.
That's something that could happen, and we take both of those.
In addition to advocacy, to voice out, to represent these small business owners, on we down though, do you hook them up with number one, with the area of info, right? Number two, if there's a business opportunity. Number three, if there's any kind of bid, that you bid information, and then you do kind of like connection. For example, there's a bridge to be built, and you bring the information or the info, the requirement to the members, and the members may start to submit their bill. I mean, their bid. So is there actions going down?
The basic part is really it's more of, I would call it more of education organization. All that education of what's happening in the capital, both capitals, the California. You see, that information is coming to small businesses and what could impact them in a positive or a negative nature. As far as I think you're talking about potential business.
Business hookup. Yes,
That's not
like
really,
a go-between.
Yeah, that hasn't been really the role of NFIB. Has really focused in on knowing what the sentiment is of small businesses and sharing it with our legislators at every state capital and in Washington, D.C.
With
as well.
all these said, I believe to my audiences, if they happen to be a business owner, most likely most of them are, it will benefit them a lot if they become a member. Am I right?
I believe it will, because you're informed of what is happening both nationally and at the state level. And many times, a lot of our past elected officials, even our current president now has met with our NFIB national leadership, and we've been able to provide input on, again, some of the challenges small business may be sharing, to collaborate, everybody in your audience as well. Some of the challenges, maybe a lot of the over-regulation in some cases. And additionally, we also advocate for certain viewpoints that are helpful for businesses to grow.
Exactly.
And so that's the role, is to advocate on behalf of small businesses.
Yeah. For example, if such as in my case, for example, last night I and my wife, we drove home. We are at the cross section of Rosemead and Street Rush. We want to make a left turn from Rush onto Rosemead. We waited there for about 2 minutes. We decided, oh, this is too long, and we decided to count down with a stopwatch, right? And it goes on and on and on and on, all the way to the 20 minutes mark. And we lost our confidence. I said, okay, but before that, I said, okay, let's see exactly what will happen. Let's see at what time mark I'll see a green light or I'll see left turn there, something like that. And then we lost our confidence at the 20 minutes mark.
Wow.
Right? So that very moment though, I talked to myself. I said, if I happen to be a small business owner with a truckload of stuff, okay, needed to be there at a certain time, and I'm here, well, law-defined person, a citizen, waiting for the light to turn green, and it never did. Within 20 minutes, never did. So for that, if I call you, Matt, represent me to go to somewhere, or whatever you want to talk to, and let the signal time to be changed, because my business gets interfered. So am I using an example, right?
Yeah, that would be a great example of what, locally, I think that may be the city of Rosemead.
City of Rosemead,
So
I'm going to call you. We're going to call them.
To contact them, and that would be the appropriate channel. Right now,
at least you want to tell me, go to Rosemead, right? And call who and who, whichever department.
Absolutely.
Very good, very good.
And as far as what NFIB was more at the state level, on laws that are passed by our legislators, and getting that information as well, because speaking to your point about delaying a truck delivery, or even delaying someone who has to go pick up their kids at a child development center, or at after school program.
I'm just using that rhetorically. For example, suppose in this case I was dealing with the city of Rosemead. What if I deal with the state of California, right? So okay.
So an example of that would be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last administration had passed more regulations.
Yeah, we'll touch that when we come back.
Okay,
okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, my dear audience, today with Max, we're having some good time. Now, I know that we have at least one channel to have questions asked, to have questions answered, something like that. So we'll take a small break. When we come back, we'll continue with the status quo of California when small business, independent business are concerned. Stay with us. Hello, my dear friends, my dear fellow Americans, or I better say my fellow Dear fellow Californians, welcome back to the show. Today, we're talking about how our economy can fly, how small business can fly in the new environment, which we believe is supposed to happen, supposed to be pull out. Yes, with my friend Max. He is the member of a National Federation of Independent Business, and he's also a member of California Action Council. And he himself is a business owner. He is consultant, doing consulting business about how to do business. Business is like a teacher, teach teacher how to teach. That kind of position. All right, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
We were talking about giving some background information to our audiences about the organizations that you're with and about yourself, and about some little concept about when you are stuck somewhere, such as in the traffic, rhetorically, you got to have a window to talk to, door to knock, something like that. Now, good or bad, for the past 8 years, how do you comment our status quo in terms of independent business development?
In the last few years, there has been a lot of regulatory, more regulatory passed that impacts businesses, where a very large business, a big, large corporation with a human resource department could handle those types of regulations. For small businesses like National Federation of Independent Businesses, where the average business is 4 employees, where a lot of your audience may have a family-owned business or maybe a business of 10 people, all those regulations create a lot of paperwork.
Oh yeah,
and do take a lot of time from the small business person from focusing what is their core business, whether they create a product or provide a service. So that's something that's been very, we've seen that impact. National Federation of Independent Businesses does a lot of surveys because of our large pool of members. And I could say that, that those were some of the largest concerns, the regulations. In California specifically, the overtime rules that were passed by the last administration was, and California in particular for us, locally here, is the workers' comp rates that are quite higher than most states.
Okay, you're right.
Which probably does put California business at some disadvantage, particularly people who are doing business internationally. And want to create products here locally and export them. So.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the challenge, I call them obstacles. You're talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, and what I say here is just from my own experience being a CEO of this organization, also doing a show, right? So I understand a little better about, on the average, above the average, about how difficult it is, what kind of a challenge they're facing, all the obstacles, major obstacles are. Now, we're talking about taxation, right, which is double or triple, right, never mind, well, taxation is there, right? And then we're talking about laws, okay? Below the law, we have regulations and ordinance, right? And we have work comp, right? And we have the ADA laws.
Correct.
Okay. All I can see is that they are kind of tied up. So back to number one, for taxation, what's your comment about our small business owners, independent business owners, are being taxed to the bone? Please?
Jack, that's a very good way of describing being taxed to the bone.
Tell them they cut.
If we talk to any small business here in this area or anywhere in California, they're going to have to share the same sentiment. As far as they're trying to build their businesses, they're growing their businesses, and one thing is paying the taxes, which they do, and they comply. But at the same time, we're looking at, just recently, California The personal income tax did go up. I believe it's almost 13
Okay.
And it's going to stay there after they passed this proposition this last November.
Exactly. And also there is a city tax that goes at, well, it's the second little knife that cuts the bone. Right. Of course, they cut differently. 6%, 5%, 10%, 11%, whatever. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Also locally, here in Southern California, locally there's the sales tax that went up in the entire county, and then there's certain cities that are also raising their sales tax.
Yeah.
And the disadvantage for a small business would be that if you're buying a very large piece of equipment, for example, in your studio, you have a lot of digital equipment that is very pricey. You're going to end up paying a lot more sales tax when you make that purchase. Some of our manufacturers who buy large equipment, they are hurt by that. And I'm sure some people in your audience who are buying new technologies, new hardware for their businesses, and they do end up paying a little bit more than someone in another state.
Very true, yes.
Probably someone in some of the other counties.
Very true, yes, very true. And then you're talking about the laws. And the laws give you kind of like always obstacles in the front, in the back, left and right, you're surrounded. And in addition to that, you have the city ordinance. I'll give you an example. Okay, take county for example. Suppose there is an event, right, with a booth, like an open to the public event, with a booth like a fair, say fair. Okay, now, I'm a food vendor. I want to buy a booth. I want to go there, do some business, make some money, and feed somebody, like that. Okay. And then I have my equipment, right? And the equipment has to be examined and has to be tested. And then the organizer of the event has to go to county health to do XYZ. I have no problem. They have a standard. They have the quantification about the qualification of the vendor. But sometimes the quantification of the qualification of the vendor goes away, out of bound of the ballpark. That is the part that I get involved all the time because I arrange EDI event myself in the past with lots of situations that I have to deal with with an issue about the size. And about the temperature, and about everything, which does make sense, some does not. And there are situations when you talk about a public event, and then with the German, with the terrorist attack that happens in Germany, right? And they ask me to put the concrete K-rails all around, whole event lot. You're talking about hundreds or if not thousand pieces of the K-rails. That itself will kill the event 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times. You never know. So I'm talking about this kind of situation. As a small business owner, I'm not an owner yet. I'm speaking on behalf of a small business owner. Do we have a channel to talk to? Maybe knock on your door, Max. Can you go smooth it out for me?
Yeah. As far as that particular situation, but I could share some more situations. And you mentioned one earlier was in respect to complying with ADA.
Okay.
And that's something that is handled at the state level. Those laws are at the state level and implemented locally as well. And one of the challenges that does come up is in respect to the frivolous lawsuits of continuous people who sue many businesses locally, storefronts, whether it's a small restaurant, whether it's that's something that NFIB has taken as something that we want to make improve that situation for the small businesses because as you know, once the cost of the insurance goes up, the cost of everything for that business may go up, And I know there's been several bills we've been supported of that provide the small business more time to alleviate whatever situation.
To correct if there is
there
is a violation. To correct the violation.
So that's definitely something
to mend it up.
that NFIB has been part of, is trying to extend that time.
And you succeeded with the 60 days or 90 days.
I think there was a few bills last for, I think we were trying to go to
I learned that from
days, right?
from Marianne Maloney.
Yes,
she's a good friend of mine. I get lots of info from her.
That's a very good example where your audience could collaborate with NFIB in contacting not only their local legislators,
of course,
of the situation to really help small businesses correct the situation.
It does,
sometimes certain small businesses may need more time, whether it's for cash flow or whatever reason, but they want to do the right thing at the end of the day.
My understanding of even the laws or even the ordinance or the rules or whatsoever is only a matter of negotiating. It can be negotiated within range, right? When I told them is that they say, what if somebody drives a truck and, drives a truck into the event and kill people? You know what I said? I said, what if somebody drops a nuclear bomb? I don't go against the fact that they consider that lot. And I do not like the fact that they are get overcautious, because that over caution kills the business. That's the point, right? Okay. Now today with my good friend Max, he is a member of the National Federation of Independent Business, and also he is a member on the Council of California Action Council, who both are advocacy nonprofit for the benefit of small business owners, to the extent of that they can, on your behalf, conduct with the necessary people, necessary part of the government, to make things go, to sometimes influence bills. And I learned from Marianne Maloney last year that they succeeded in the negotiation or lobbying about getting some extra time to correct a violation instead of being fined right away, right? Being punished right away. Okay, let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, instead of looking at the status quo though, why don't we look ahead a little bit? Now that we have a new presidency, now that we have a new administration, now that lots of people say, hey, give him some time, well, what can we see? What can we expect? So stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, dear folks, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Paul Battaglia. Paul Battaglia, a wonderful name that stands for men's suit. You see what I'm wearing? That's Paul Battaglia. Paul, thank you for sponsoring. Oh, it's my sponsor's outfit made for me. All right. Hey, thank you, Paul. Right, back to the show. The show being a discussion about how we can be helped by people, wonderful people. My good friend Max of the National Federation of Independent Business and a member of the California Council Action. So now question is, whatever happened had happened, right? So commenting or talking about mingling around with the status quo doesn't make any difference. The thing is that now we have a new president, we have a new administration, so lots of people telling me that we have hope, right? So with Max in the area, in the whole respect of small business, independent business, how are we going to expect? What can we expect, please?
Okay.
In other words, what shall happen to us?
Well, you're certainly asking the right organization. National Federation of Independent Businesses at the national level has always kept the survey on the sentiment of how small businesses feel about the economy and about the growth of their businesses. And it's called the Index of Small Businesses Optimist Index. Just to share with you, I think we shared the article with you, that the optimism out there is as high today as it was in 2004. So in 12 years, finally it's at that level where our small businesses, through the survey, a national survey, really looking forward to a growing economy. To give you some specifics on the questions that are asked, as far as whether our membership is going to grow their sales, over 20% from a year ago, they're saying, yes, we're going to grow our sales in this coming year. And also the question is, are you going to expand your business? And that percentage has grown by 12% also in the last 12 months. So the sentiment is very positive. From
indicates some kind of confidence.
A lot of confidence. And as you know, now taking a step back, if the sentiment is growth in sales and expansion of your business, well, we know, all of us, you know, yourself as a CEO of a company as well, what that means is to be able to meet those sales, to be able to expand, you're going to have to invest. And you're going to invest in new equipment,
grow, expand, invest,
and even
put up a new studio.
Staff.
Put up a new studio. Get some more staff, right?
And some more staff. With that new studio comes more staff. So that this is a positive thing for everybody, because also on some of the other surveys done by some national groups, whether it's manufacturing, they're looking very positive as well. So when that results in is job creation, and then the consumer feels a little more confident, which maybe we could talk a little bit more about later, with people working and with more jobs. I think that sentiment, people begin to spend a little more.
Yeah, right.
So even some of my clients, I feel very positive of what is coming in the next few years. And we're very excited, and they're also preparing to manage that growth, which would be, whether they get funding or loans, or they reinvest their own money back into their business. So those are the discussions right now happening.
Versus what happened, what had been year of 2004, you of course talking about a comparison of data of 12-year gap, right? I want to focus on the point on the turn, on the power shift from Obama to Trump. At that very point, what kind of psychological effect or confidence it does produce, please?
Definitely, with the new administration, obviously these indexes, people that we talk to, small business owners, they seem to be to understand that there's someone in the White House who understands business, and what small businesses are hoping is that translates not only to the bigger businesses, but also translates to the smaller businesses and some of the challenges that we want to overcome. And the focus would be for our businesses really just to focus on their core business and doing what they do best, and growing it, whether it's in the product industry, service industry, farm production, etc. So it's looked at everybody's looking forward to what's going to come. That's the sentiment. But the actual is going to be the actual policy that will probably sometime be presented, and we'll see what's in there.
Speaking of policy, though, I recall that in Donald Trump's speech of his 100-day plan, he mentioned that one thing in the area of a sentiment to business growth, that he will reduce the 35% bracket down to 17. That's quite a bit. That's more than half. Right? So your comment on that part, please. What kind of sentiment? If he carries that out, if he doesn't lie, right? Okay.
Right. Well, as he's communicating some of his broader goals, right? I think that definitely helps the sentiment of business owners, because if the taxes are in truth cut, that means the business owner can maintain more money and cash flow within the business, or to be able to grow it, to reinvest that.
Yeah, from 35 to 17, that's 18% of a cut.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number.
But the numbers I remember,
okay, you remember,
because I was on that, and I even wrote something for the magazine, for my magazine about it. Was very exciting numbers.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that number was for corporations or for
small business, for small business taxation.
Right. So there had been discussions about how he's going to do that. So, with half, we know that the savings could be dramatic for any family business, any small business, and the majority of all small businesses, the first thing they're going to do is reinvest that. In some way, some fashion, to grow your business.
Yeah, you don't want to just spend them all, right?
Right.
Get some equipment in your case. You just mentioned. Get some equipment, right? Hire some more employees.
And it could mean whether a small business makes a decision to use that to reinvest, and they don't have to borrow, or maybe pay back some.
You pay some debt.
Or pay some
debt. Pay some debt back,
if
right?
Okay,
very good.
So the small business person all over the country, and even in your audience, is always thinking about how do I grow the business? And if you have the funds to do that from your own funds, then that's a great opportunity, and that reinvestment, as you know, will create activity, and also will require more resources. In this case, more people to work with within the company. So that's what the small business person is looking forward to, is growth and creating jobs.
Sure. There's another concern, Max. Positivities are there that I do not doubt that Trump will do something different, even though he will not be able to carry the numbers precisely like that. He has a motivation of doing it just to show the difference, right? But my concern is that almost each and every member of his cabinet are millionaires or billionaires. They are big, humongous businessman or a woman. Do they really care about a small business?
That's a good question.
From the bottom of their mind.
Not only, Jack, you've asked this question, and we see that question being asked by a lot of the news medias and news pundits out there nationally and even locally. But the fact is that, these individuals are very wealthy. They are, not all of them, some type of business. They run large businesses.
Almost everybody.
Or they own large businesses. So that's very different in some cases from maybe some other cabinets. Is it that much different? I think there's a lot of publicity behind that. These people are wealthier than the last administration, but there always have been people in all the administrations who have come from Fortune 500 firms, who have come from
500,
very wealthy families. So it's not unique, but in this case, it seems like everybody has been coming from the business community.
For example, let's do one by one. Okay, Trump is richer than Obama, all right? And Vice President Pence is richer than Biden. Okay, one by one. So they are rich. My concern is that, oh my God, how do they read our minds, right?
Right, and that's exactly an opportunity for small businesses right now. NFIB, I know they've been one of the largest advocate groups on behalf of smaller businesses, and I know we're working very hard to communicate the concerns of smaller businesses. They're very different from some of the larger corporations. So I think the sentiment again is being positive that this administration will listen carefully and that will understand the challenge is a little bit more than some other
All right,
administrations.
okay, all right, yeah.
So I see it as an opportunity.
Business oriented, business oriented.
Yeah, and then small business collaborating with NFIB and other small business organizations to really have a voice and be able to ask this administration
That
to
I
support small business.
recommend that sometime down the road you arrange a meeting in name of National Federation of Independent Business of IBC, and I mean NFIB and California Council to meet with Donald Trump, right? And that will bring confidence to him and to the organization too, both ways, all right? My dear audience, today we're really talking something big. We started very small, we're getting bigger and bigger. We're talking about the whole nation. We're talking about how the economy can grow, taking the given environment being that we have a new president, we have a new administration, everything is new. So, well, why not consider something to start over, right? So we take a very short moment out, and when we come back, we'll ask my friend Max as if we are advising. I mean, we are asking him for advices. So how we want to do, how we want to be, how we want to run our business. So stay with us, please. Hello, my dear audience. Welcome back to the East-West Show, exclusive sponsored by Paul Batanley, brand name for men's jackets, men's suits. Paul Batanley represents culture, represents tradition, and also lifestyle. Thank you, Paul, for sponsoring. Back to the show with my friend Max, the member of California Action Council and a member of the National Federation of Independent Business. We're getting a lot of info from him. And last thing is that we try to inquire some advices and consultations. Suppose I'm your client, right? And I'm sitting here on my audience behalf, asking you, how are we to take advantage of the new environment? For example, I want to start a business, right? And I have a bank that I can ask for a loan, and I have a direction that I want to go. So how do you recommend to do? Say if I do something like, say, Jack Chow workshop. How about that? So what do you want to recommend me to do using this very moment?
Well, Jack, again, the topic we were talking about is a lot of positive optimism on what's happening not nationally, but we believe it's also locally here in Southern California. And yourself as a business person, I think it's an opportunity. If these businesses, small or large, reinvest in their companies, it's going to require expenditures, whether it's business to business, and the job creation that results from that is what becomes the business to consumer market. So both look very positive. I believe they look very positive. I would really ask you as a business owner to really sit down and write out a plan of where you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years, and then begin to identify the areas of growth that you could that are opportunities for your business, and also really know what kind of reinvestment that may require. I think you mentioned whether you use your own money to reinvest in your company, or is it wiser to take a loan from a bank, or equity investors. That's another the three your own money, bank, or even a third-party investor in a company of this size, at least. For the smaller businesses, I think it's really drawing out a plan of where they want to go, or drawing out the map. That's really important. And taking the consideration the three main things: what market their business is in, who is in their staff to be able to meet the requirements of whether it's
knowing who
product,
you are.
Yeah, and then whether it's a product or a service. And then the third part would be the capital aspect that we talked about.
Okay.
Having that third part. Really knowing what your marketplace, whether you enter a new market or whether you provide a new product line, or you provide a new service to the services you're providing. I think you mentioned a little bit about your company in media, and you have media events. And so you have other lines of services. So I would say the market, getting the right people to help you grow your business, and the third part would be really really knowing what capital you may need.
All right, okay.
And being able to plan that out.
Let's go to some concrete point, a specific point. For example, I need $100,000 to start the business. I just fake a name for Jack Chow Workshop, something like, or Jack's Workshop, something like that. All right. And for the 100,000, I do have the money now. And I do have an option that I loan from the bank, right? So in between loaning and using my own money, I have no decision. I'm kind of like hanging there. So now I walk to you. You will tell me, and you will help me analyzing the benefit and disadvantage of loaning, and the benefit and disadvantage of using my own money. Well,
well, what I would share with you is to really look at how much is that loan going to cost you, and if the loan interest rates they had been quite low for quite a while. It's going to be really interesting to see where they're going to be this year and in the future.
All right.
So that's something that needs to really need to analyze what that's going to be, and you have to ask yourself, if I have my own money, and what kind of return am I going to get from my own business? Similar to anybody other investment that you may make with other partners or through stocks or bonds. I would really look at what kind of return you're looking for. Sometimes you could use your money to reinvest in another investment and borrow at a lower rate. That may make better sense. Right?
I see what you mean.
So if you're 100,000, you could get a return of 12%. And some other joint venture,
and then your loan probably 3%.
5, well, it's a little more now probably, but yeah,
I wish
3
3
to 5. That may
5.
be a little wiser. So you have to kind of look at everything that you're doing. Obviously, you got to really look at where your business has been. Now it's a matter of really drawing where's the forecast for the next 2 to 4 years, or 3 to 5 years, and really look at that and see what kind of return you could provide yourself as the reinvestor in your own business, or is it make wise to really begin to develop credit for your company, and take out a loan that you could pay very easily, and then that builds some credit and credibility with the banking industry as well.
And my audience is like I said, most of them might be business owners themselves, and they are not within the organization, are not a member yet, right? So, if they want to get some info, do you have a website?
Absolutely.
That, I can.
So NFIB.com, National Federation of Independent Businesses. There's a website with a lot of information. Also, you could join through the website, which is a little different nowadays. And also in there, you could click on California NFIB to see what our California
the address is California NFIB?
I think you could just go to, I think it's nfib.org or nfib.com.
nfib.org.
And you'll go to the website. Information is there. You could join through the website. Obviously, you would be joining California.
Interesting,
So, and we're here to help and assist small businesses at the state level and at the national level, so their voices are heard.
All right, okay. I would say, thank God, we have this, not only this system, but also we have those wonderful individuals, wonderful organizations that speaks and advocates on our behalf, being a small business owner or trying to be or almost there something, and there is always help. There's always help available, yet you might not know. Well, in order to know that, you may go online, say National Federation of Independent Business, go nfib.com.org.com. You will find out these days. There's not a problem, and you will find lots of info there. So today, with the help of Max, we are having lots of good time understanding the status quo, understanding there are help available, understand that there are hopes because we have new presidency, new administration, and we have probably lots of change. We shall see lots of change in the next few months to come. All right, good. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and we thank our audience for watching. And to Max, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good.